That was a damn good fight card. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the recap of UFC Saudi Arabia. Let's have a conversation. Guys, I'm going to do this conversation or this recap video in a rapid fire kind of format because I'm trying to keep this under 10 minutes. I don't think it should be really more than 10 minutes just for me to articulate my thoughts of the card. And I'm just going to dig right into it. Bro, I really enjoyed these fights. Now, granted, the fight night, the card UFC Saudi Arabia, it was pretty bland and slow during the prelims. And I didn't like it. I was watching, I was almost falling asleep. I was like, okay, what's going on with these dudes? Nothing was really getting so exciting. And you know, when you watch the prelims or fights that the fighters are not too famous on the, you know, because for us casuals, we have to, if we're really gonna enjoy the fight, first we have to have some idea of who the person fighting is. So when you have these up and comers on the prelims, if we don't really know them, the least we can expect are really exciting fights. And they weren't exactly exciting in my own opinion. I think the only one was the Chinese guy and the two Asian guys. Listen, guys, I can't even start going into their name because again, I don't know them, but they were the guys who did the finale for the road to the UFC. That was sort of the only one that was a little bit exciting. The rest they were sort of bland, really. And I was like, oh my God, we're off to a terrible start. This fight card may not be very good, but hey, of course, I had to give you guys a recap, so I kept on watching. Then it got to feature card for the prelims, and that was with Jared Gordon. Thank you. I'm looking at my notes, by the way. Jared Gordon and Nasrat Haqparast. God damn it, what kind of name? Jared Gordon versus Nasrat Haqparast. I like to try to get the names very well. I know Jared Gordon, but Haqparast, yeah, I don't really know him. Now that fight, that was a little bit of that was a slugfest. That was a good way to wrap up the prelims. And I thought, you know, Nasrat did win. It was a good win. No controversy there. And then the main card started. And I'm like, okay, let's see. I was already feeling, you know, a little bit pumped after that one. But my little recap for the main card was this. I'll give you fight by fight, starting with Volkan, Ozdemir, and Johnnie Walker. I thought Volkan did a good job walking Johnnie Walker down. I mean, there's a pun in there somewhere. But Volkan did a good job walking Johnnie Walker down. He wasn't afraid of Johnnie Walker's power. He wasn't really respectful of the explosive and unpredictable nature of Johnnie Walker. And then Johnnie Walker himself, it's like, I think Johnnie Walker is experiencing some kind of issue, like a self-esteem or a self-doubt issue. And I think ever since he went to Ireland to train under Conor McGregor's coach, God damn it, I've forgotten his name, but Conor's coach, Johnnie Walker hasn't really been the same. He's not really delivering that explosive, athletic, aggressive style that we first saw in his first two UFC fights. And it's cost him a lot. It cost him a lot. Volkan walked him down and that KO landed With the first started with was a right uppercut, and then he was already asleep then. Then the ref, of course, you got to keep going until the ref jumps in, and then Volkan kept going because the ref had not jumped in, and literally after the second punch, Johnnie Walker was stretched out, you know? And I felt bad for him, but man, that was a good fight. And then at the end of the day, Volkan calls out Jan Blachowicz or Jamal Hill. I'm here for it. I'd like to see either of those fights. Congratulations, Volkan. Good job, bro. Next fight. Shara, yeah. Okay, Shara Magomedov versus Anthonio Trocoli. That ended in a KO. So good thing about that fight, again, both guys I'm not really familiar with, but the Magomedov guy, listen, dude can scrap. He was very crisp, very athletic. I like his style, right? He moved, he found angles very well. Shots were coming from nowhere. And then with Anthonio just stood there. Literally, he was tall. He was like, what is it, 6'3", 185. He stood there not really doing much. He tried to get some takedowns that didn't really go to his advantage. And then, essentially, if you're a stationary target, my brother, you're going to get pieced up. And that was what happened to him. He was just completely pieced up, you know, in the fight, from leg kicks, body shots, jabs, everything just kept going, you know. And eventually, if you stand there long enough, you're gonna get your ass KO'd. And that happened in I think it was the third round, 2 minutes 27 seconds of the third round. The KO happened, and Magomedov got the win and looked very impressive. So again, congratulations to Magomedov as well. Kevin Gastelum versus Daniel Rodriguez was the next fight on the card. I thought that the Kevin looked pretty good, regardless of the controversy, you know, the weight cut controversy coming in. Dana wasn't happy about it. I think the UFC brass were a bit pissed at Kevin Gastelum because Kevin should know better. He's been doing this long enough. He's a professional. He's fought at both weight classes. You know, to say you want to fight at welterweight and you've been given a full camp and then you come in at middleweight, bro, it's not exactly a good look. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they're pissed at you, I don't blame them. However, Kevin brought that dog to the fight though. But then when you think about it, statistically speaking, people who don't make weight, typically they sort of, you know, win the fight. That's statistically speaking, they're more likely to win the fight, and he did. Not taking anything from him because he literally brought the fight to Daniel Rodriguez. Rodriguez was piecing him up as well, but at some point Rodriguez got really tired, and I think Kevin having several takedowns, I think he had 3 takedowns or 4 takedowns in that fight, which was pretty impressive. It was a very dominant performance in my personal opinion. So congratulations, Kevin. Gastelum is back in the W, but you know, it's better to be in the W without any controversy. Unfortunately, this had a lot of controversy. So, you know, the UFC brass and Kevin Gastelum and his management will have to, you know, sort of, they'll sort something out. Co-main event, Alexander Volkov and Pavlovich, sorry. So these two guys were training partners in the past. They're countrymen. You know, there's a little bit of weirdness. I think Volkov mentioned that he felt a bit weird fighting him, but there was a little bit of, you know, beef, I think. Some kind of misalignment between both of them going into this fight. It wasn't really a beef per se, but, you know, it was less than favorable conditions, you know, in the friendship. So per the fight, I thought Volkov fought a very technical fight. I was hoping he wasn't going to trade with Pavlovich. You trade with Pavlovich, if you're naming Tom Aspinall, you will sleep. You will sleep. And there were moments in that fight where I think Volkov, Alexander Volkov, he almost lost the game plan and actually wanted to trade with Pavlovich. But then at some point, I think in between rounds, he was able to still maintain his composure. He used his reach management very well. You know, he's pretty tall. He's 6'7". Kept that distance, kept the jabs all, you know, in Pavlovich's face the entire fight, and you could tell from the damage at the end of the day. He ended up getting a unanimous decision, which I thought was also very well deserved. And then this is Volkov. And then Volkov calls out John Jones. Called out John Jones for heavyweight title shot. That's not bad, but you know, with the state of the heavyweight division right now, I don't even know if I don't know what's going on over there. We just have to wait till Jones fights Stipe and let's see, is he going to retire or is there going to be something else going on there? We don't know, but I'd love to see it, right? I'd love to see Volkov get a shot at it. You know, for a guy so big and so tall, he was very measured in this fight. Well, he looked a little bit gassed out towards the third, but again, still very impressive. Main event. The main event, I was so happy for Robert Whitaker. Whitaker went in there and gave us a clinic. I wasn't expecting the fight to be that short. This is a fight that ended in what? With a KO in 1 minute 49 seconds of the very first round. Very impressive. Very, very impressive. Whitaker was ready, and to think he took this fight on short notice. He was supposed to face Khamzat Chimaev. And now I'm thinking, Whitaker, this version of Whitaker, if he had faced Khamzat, what would that have been like? Because Khamzat says that Aliskerov is one of his actually one of his toughest fights, because Aliskerov has been beaten by Khamzat Chimaev in the past. And Khamzat claims that was a very tough fight for him. And Robert Whitaker went in there and made it look very easy. Now, Whitaker has put himself in a position where he may most likely be the backup fighter for Izzy versus DDP at UFC 305. I'm happy for the Reaper. He's had these ups and downs since he lost the belt to Izzy. Sometimes he makes it, sometimes he shows up, sometimes he doesn't. You know, it's sometimes a good day at the office, sometimes it's not. So I'm not exactly too excited for the win, but that was a very beautiful performance. In fact, if I had my way, every winner on the main card should get the bonus, but it's not really possible. However, let me just narrow it down to the fight that I love the most, and I would say that is the fight I liked the most was the Whitaker fight. Whitaker's fight was the one I loved the most, and then a close second would be the Magomedov and Trocoli fight. I actually really, really enjoyed that fight. And just so you know, is that dude fighting with one eye? Not trying to be funny here, but it looked like he's fighting with one eye. It's like we have a little Michael Bisping situation going on. And he's still able to do that. Very impressive. Anyway, guys, that's my quick recap of UFC Saudi Arabia. It was a very beautiful experience. Good fight card. I was almost being disappointed in the beginning, but it ended up being pretty good. Okay, that's all I've got now. I'll see you guys on the next one. For more news, please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification buttons to get our videos when they come up. We're going to be talking about some more stuff within the week, okay? I'll see you guys on the next one. Take it easy.